Hello, everybody. I'm Renee Varnador, and welcome so much to this amazing day 2 of Sacred Union with Mary Magdalene and the Archangels. I am here with some amazing friends that I have known since the pandemic and some new friends that are, amazing also. Gold and silver friends. Just my cup runneth over.
Mm.
So, let's just be here now. And Mary Magdalene, one of my mentor teachers is Megan Watterson, and she turned me on to something that she learned from Mary Magdalene, which is it's time to call ourselves back from all times and all places. So just
Mm.
pulling in all of the things, all of the everyday worries, pull it all in your heart, and then call myself back from all times and all places, all things from the past, all things from the future. We're moving it all right into our hearts so that we can be here now, because we want to open our hearts so that we can forge a connection with Mary Magdalene, because she lives in the now. She lives in the present. This is here and now. That's where all the help, all the ascended masters, all the archangels, they live in here and now. So when we are connected to the here and now within our own being, then we're connected to any beings that we want to learn more about. So I'm going to call it one more time. I'm calling myself back from all times and all places. I feel my feet on the ground, and I am very thankful for all of you who have shown up. And I'm thank you for all of you who are going to be watching this on the replay. So we have um, some an amazing chance to really get to know Mary Magdalene, not what other people would have necessarily taught us Mary Magdalene was, but who she really is and how we might have a relationship with her. So think for a moment back to when you were a child. I have to go back 67 years. Some of you don't have to go back that far. Some of you get to go a little bit further to think about the first time you heard about Mary Magdalene and what did you think? So in my experience, my parents decided to raise us Catholic because my dad was Catholic, but my mom wasn't. And the name of the Catholic church that we went to when I was a small child, I was like 3 years old, when my mom said, "Go to church, take Renee, I've got the baby," and I went to church with my father, and the name of the church was Mary Magdalene. So when I walked into the church, I expected to see and feel Mary Magdalene, and yeah, I did. And I was just sitting in church, and it all felt really amazing. And I would look around at the other people, and I would see that there were like spirits on the shoulders of different people, and different, like, angels were showing up. And but not everybody, but some people. And I was kind of curious why some people had angels on their shoulders and others didn't, and why some people were connected to the energies that were like filling this place that was architecturally constructed to hold powerful space. And then I dropped my prayer book on the ground, and I bent down to pick it up. And the lady sitting in the pew next to my dad was totally disgusted that this little girl didn't know when to kneel, when to sit, when to stand, which is what you're supposed to know. And so she was all judgy, and she looked at my dad. And so my dad all of a sudden got all judgy with me, which he wasn't a minute ago, and wanted me to sit back. And then all of a sudden, the judgment from her that went to my dad, that went to me, came on to me too. And I started judging why some people have archangels and Mary Magdalene on their shoulders and other people don't. Whereas as a few moments ago, before I started making judgments about who's got the Mary Magdalene channel and who has the power and who has we all have it. It's within all of us, whether we want to show it or not. That's our business and that's our choice. And so that was one of this whole judgment thing is something that years later reading Mary Magdalene's gospel, I see as a trap that all of us fall into at some point or another. And this not understanding who Mary Magdalene is another thing that traps us. I remember going to catechism 3 years later when I'm sick and six, and we're picking up the other people in the neighborhood. And I'm going, oh, I'm so excited. I'm good to go see Mary Magdalene. And because we're going to church, and the little boy in the catechism class says, she's a prostitute. Like it was like this horrible, horrible thing. And I was like, what? She's like this horrible, what? What is this? Yeah, I didn't understand what the word prostitute was, but I knew it was horrible. And so I had to unpack that and figure out where that even came from. And when I found out where that came from, I got really, really angry for years. Because what happened is that it's not in the Bible that way. And that's it. What happened is there is the Gospel of Mary that got suppressed when Emperor Constantine decided to become a Christian, and then he decided it was going to be the religion of the empire. And this is an empire that was, dominating the world. It was going out with armies, and it had a hierarchy with the Caesar at the top, and then the priests and the bishops and the senators and the landowners and all these people. And then way down at the bottom were slaves and women and slaves, same thing, same way down at the bottom. And so this religion got sent out to like the world, which is great, right? Because only 5% of the population in Rome was Christian at the time Constantine decided it was going to be the religion. So great, right? Except that they suppressed a lot of the writings when they just tried to make a decision on what was going to go into the Bible, what was the real story. And I used to be really angry that they didn't pick the Gospel of Mary, they didn't pick the Gospel of Thomas, they didn't pick, the Acts of Paul and Thecla or the Gospel of Philip, any of these things that I have since read that make a lot of sense and basically told me that the power is not up here with the Father on the cloud and the Son on the other cloud and the Holy Spirit running around and you can't catch it. So there's like this sense of separation in this Trinity that was this idea of the Trinity wasn't created by Jesus. It was created by the Council of Nicene. So we've got all of this when in reality, if you read the Gospel of Mary and some of the other suppressed Gospels, they're all saying the same thing, that the divine spark is within each one of us, that is within each one of our own being, and we are part of that, and it is part of us, every single one of us. And it's not like I have a bigger spark of the divine than you is BS, because that's not true. We all have the spark of the divine. And so there's no point in comparing ourselves to other people. We were talking about that yesterday. That's a very, very human thing to do. I used to do it all the time. I used to compare myself to my mother, who was amazing at talking to people and giving speeches and saying things. And I used to not speak at all. So you can see that just me standing up here and talking for the last 5 minutes is a big stretch compared to how I was raised and grew up as a little girl. And what I've discovered is that Pope Gregory decided in 1591 that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. So, and there is absolutely no evidence in any of the early Christian writings that that is the case. In fact, the evidence in the early Christian writings is that Jesus taught that all of us were equal. Now, that wasn't too hard for people to figure out because a lot of the people that he got together were fishermen, and they were like here, and women and slaves were like here. He wasn't, but saying that we were all equal, you're going to make these people up here pretty angry, but you're not going to be making the fishermen too angry, right? But the fishermen a lot of times did not want to see the women and the slaves as equal to them. And so that is part of the reason why Jesus is teaching that we are all equal, including people that are defined by the law as slaves, or women who are defined as property at that time. And so we're living in a time now where we can't imagine being seen as property, and yet we also see extremist forces in various places in the world where women have been free and equal, and then trying to pull women back down into this misunderstanding of this hierarchy that was established and runs through the institutionalized version of Christianity a lot of times. Although now, I think it was 2016 when Pope Francis said that Mary Magdalene was actually the apostle to the apostles, which is huge, because no matter if you're just reading the Bible, you're going to just read the 4 canonical gospels, which is story of Jesus's life. That's it. That's all we've got of what the Jesus movement really was. The rest of it is commentary and background information. So we've got those 4 gospels, but when you add the suppressed gospels to those 4, you understand now what those 4 gospels were really saying, because it's all in there too. It's all saying, oh, the kingdom of heaven is here and now. Look within. And so all of those things that can get lost are actually also in the Bible, if it's translated in a way that understands that Jesus spoke Aramaic to his disciples, which is a Semitic language, which is different than Greek, which is where the Romans got their versions of all of these gospels, and they changed it into Latin. And then when it got changed into English, there was just a lot of mistranslations all the way down the line. And so looking at the Aramaic versions of some of these things, for instance, in Aramaic, there are 2 words for self. There's the small self, that self that lives in the body and is human, is called the napsha. And then the self that is our higher self or soulful self is called ruha. And ruha is a word that actually means 3 different things. It means breath, it means air, and it means spirit. And so you can see how it would be difficult for anybody to translate what the sayings of Jesus were, especially since they weren't written down at the time. It was all oral tradition for the first few generations. And so you can see, okay, so what are they talking about? Breath here? Are they talking about spirit here? What are they talking about? When they're talking about self, are they talking about small self? Are they talking about larger self? When Jesus is speaking to the Father, who is he really speaking to? If you look at the word for abun, that it gets translated as Father, he's really speaking to our parent, not our mother, our father, but our parent, our creator, the one that gave us life. So all of this information, this background information, is very interesting for us as we try to come within sacred union within our own being. When we say, okay, so external authority, listening to the top down, voting for, trying all of this stuff about top down um, hierarchies and autocrats and all of these dictators around the world, we have to realize, okay, I am not looking for somebody outside of me to fix it all because my world's falling apart. The only way that I'm going to fix it all is by saying, I am the savior of my own life. And is by going deeply within my own soul that I am going to be able to move forward, and that I'm going to be able to integrate and come into sacred union with all the parts of myself, whether it's the feminine part of myself, the masculine part of myself, the human part of myself, the divine part of myself, so that I can come into sacred union, which is what we were talking about yesterday. So I'd like to hear from anybody that wants to unmute or raise their hand or let me know that they want to talk. That what was it that you understood about Mary Magdalene when you first heard about her, and how has that understanding grown? So would anybody like to, so we've got Bonnie unmuted, and then we've got Allison. Go ahead, Bonnie. Oh,
When what I remember, when I first heard the story of Mary Magdalene, what I remember, I don't know if this was a Mary Magdalene story or not, but the woman who came to wash Jesus' feet, and other people were trying to shoo her away, and Jesus said, no, let her. So there was that, and it might have been 10 years later when I even could grasp the concept of prostitute or so that's kind of where it left off. I didn't think about Mary Magdalene again until you started teaching about her, and then it's been fascinating.
okay. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. Yeah, the woman that washed Jesus's feet. Now there are actually now feminist theologians, which is like that didn't exist 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're all in agreement that the woman that did the anointing with the sacred oil and anointed Jesus' head and his feet, knew that he was going to cross any day now and was preparing him. And the people around him were very upset about this, because they didn't understand what was going on and what she was actually doing. But they're pretty much in agreement that that is actually where Easter starts, that's the Wednesday. We usually start celebrating on Thursday, but the Wednesday was the anointing, and that the anointor was somebody that was very close to him. His my belief is that they are spiritual partners, and there's some language in the Gospel of Philip that supports the fact that they were spiritual partners. So that's what we have to go on. So yes, your feeling is correct, that in my view, I would there is credence for your belief that the woman that washed Jesus's feet was Mary Magdalene. So, and Allison, what would you like to share with us?
Yeah, and it's so good to be here, Renee.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. You know, the question kind of stumped me at first because I grew up in a family that was like highly intellectual. We went to some different Protestant churches because it was kind of good to go. But, you know, there was really no context. And we went to everything, you know, Unitarian, like this, that, you know. But I do remember this is so bad, the argument between Mary and her sister. I'm doing freaking work, and this lazy sister of mine is sitting at your feet listening, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just so much was playing out. My mom's really sick between my older sister and I, and we're like, ah, you know?
Mhm.
And,
Yep.
so I was like, whoa, did I ever hear anything really about her? And then I had my encounter with her in 2006. And when I first heard, like when I said, who's this? And I heard Mary and Mother Mary, and it was like, no, the other Mary. And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, the prostitute. Like, and I was ashamed to think it because here she is, like talking to me, kind of, whatever. And I'm
Right,
like,
right,
what,
right, right.
And I was like, and it occurred to me, like, it's so in our bones
Yeah,
that we're all just a bunch of whores. If we don't toe the line, if we don't do what we're told, you
right,
know,
right, right.
she's a whore, they're a whore. And no matter how much the Catholic Church now says, oops, it lives in our bones because it has for centuries. So I wanted to share about that. And thanks for the powerful question. Woke something up in me.
Mm, thank you, Allison. It's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing your experience of Mary Magdalene and how she came to you. That is powerful. And each one of us could have a powerful experience like that. Who knows? Because we all have that ability. It doesn't mean that Allison's better than us or I'm better or somebody else is better. We all have this capacity to touch into Mary Magdalene. So thank you for sharing and letting us know that it is possible. Brenda.
Yeah, so my experience actually was totally different because we didn't grow up in the church. My sister and I went when we were teens. I had some experiences there that really soured me on traditional religion and churches and church families and that kind of thing. So I didn't really know anything until I met Renee, actually. And so what happened was, and I don't even remember how it was, I got called, where it really resonated me to do something more about, like, learn more or do something with Mary Magdalene. And Renee at that time, and I don't know if you still do, Renee, but we had, for whatever reason, you had led me on a guided visualization to the caves, to connect with Mary Magdalene. And I had that whole experience of having the red cape being put on me and hearing the words, you are of us, and not knowing what that meant until I told you what I saw or what I wrote and what I felt during the visualization. And you were like, oh, you're a Magdalena. And I'm like, okay, but I have no idea what the hell that means. So my experience was there. So I don't have that same attachment to, oh my God, she was a prostitute. Like that doesn't live in me in the same way. And ever since then, like I did the Mary Magdalene class with you, and I did the Archangel class with you. The fact that now they're together, I'm like, ooh. But my experience was different, and she still resonates for me. I know very little about her. I have her deck. I pull cards from there at times, and I don't know. It just was very different for me. I didn't know anything, and I really still don't. But it was so profound that these years later, I don't remember how many years ago it was, we did that visualization, but I still periodically hear that you are of us and feel connected, in that way. So that was what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. And we're going to be doing a meditation probably pretty soon. I'm going to show a very, very, very brief presentation, and then we're going to go into the meditation where we all get a chance to experience Mary Magdalene's red cloak, and we're all going to have a different experience. Why? Because we're all unique individuals, and we're all going to, you know, have and accept whatever comes up for us. So might be an image, it might be a voice, it might be a color, it might be just a feeling within the body. So it can go, all of it's valid. And somebody else's experience is not better than yours just because it sounds more like a movie of the week than your experience does. So, anybody else before we move on and I show you a couple of pictures in the presentation? Okay. Lauren, okay, go ahead and unmute, Lauren.
Yeah, I also had the always believing that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. Never really gave her very much thought. And then in 2004, I did an angel course, and they must have also introduced the ascended masters and goddesses, and Mary Magdalene came up there, and I just fell in love with her immediately. And they really were really talking about Mary being Jesus's love. And I really loved that. And I since have also, read Megan Waters' book and other things too. So, and done trainings with you. I love that she and Jesus to me are the masculine and the feminine. And yeah, there's just something that I really loved about. That's why I just wanted to share that bit, because for me, the fact that they loved each other, that was something that I heard that I seemed to cling on to, and I just really, really love that, and that she has had so much wisdom uh, of her own too, and very much alongside his teachings, which I think was also taken out of the Bible about actually the truth is within us, and we need to come home to this center within ourselves.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren, for bringing up that the divine masculine and the divine feminine. For you, it was whole, and it really wasn't damaged. For a lot of people in Western culture, Carl Jung talks about how damaging it was to make Mary Magdalene, Jesus's consort, a prostitute, and elevate Jesus's mother Mary to sainthood above an ascension and all this, and how that made it really difficult for us to be able to step into our own divine feminine, divine masculine. So he just renamed it the anima and the animus, those parts of us, those yin and yang parts of us within us, so that we could come back into a balance. When my husband got really interested in the Hare Krishnas for a while, and all of the Hare Krishna males have a female counterpart, their consort. So we've got Krishna and Radha. Radha is Krishna's consort, and they come together and they do things together. And so that's why when it finally clicked for me that Jesus and Mary came together and they were spiritual partners coming here. That's an important part of our understanding and our reclaiming, so that we can reclaim those parts of us that need to be reclaimed for us to really step into our wholeness. So I'm going to share, if anybody has any questions while I'm sharing. Oh my gosh, no, please, no, no. I should have checked this before. This is crazy. It didn't used to do this. Okay.
No, it's so different now, you know, so
Anybody got an idea what we're supposed to be doing?
You could potentially share the document to me and then see whether or not I can do it for you.
Okay, let me see.
so your share isn't showing up. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, the share isn't showing up in the way that it used to show up.
If
Okay.
you click on your little three dots, does it have? No, it doesn't.
Let's see. So my more. Okay,
I do have a share button on my screen.
you do have, okay, because yeah, maybe. All right, I'm going to go into share docs. Okay, all participants. Okay. All right, that didn't help. Let me try again.
Hmm.
I don't know what it's doing.
We've got a whiteboard. We're
Yeah, I've
sharing
got a whiteboard
whiteboard.
and I don't need a whiteboard.
No.
Okay.
Can you just share can
Okay.
you share the document into the chat and then I'll click on the document?
Yeah, let me get. Okay.
I didn't realize that what you just said then about, basically vilifying Mary Magdalene and raising Mary as the mother. I had never understood, I'd never seen that before until the way you just shared that then. That's had a
Yeah,
lot of energy.
yeah, the Catholic Church basically did that, and making by deciding that Mother Mary ascended into heaven, which is something that the rest of us can't do, um, in their opinion. But part of what we're doing when we step into sacred union is saying, well, yeah, all of us can go through this process of ascension, descension, ascension, descension. It's happening every time we inhale and exhale. We're ascending and we're descending. We're expanding and we're coming back into our own heart, and we're expanding and we're coming back. So there's a lot of people that are on the ascension journey, and there's a transcendent quality to it, but there is also this sense of embodying the spirit world, embodying the soul, being soul in a body. That's what we're on the earth doing, in my opinion. Being able to manifest and create here, not just following my little self, my Napsha, my little Renee, but stepping into the soulful part of me. And when we go into the eye of the heart, we listen for what the soul is telling us, what the soul is coming forward with. So I think of my soulful self and my intuition coming forward as my divine feminine. And if I allow my masculine to come up with a baby step for what it is that my feminine wants to create, then all of a sudden I am coming into sacred union within myself. And so what I put out into the world is more meaningful and more universal,
Wow.
as everybody is going to understand it in their own unique individual way, because we're we're all here to bring forward something specific.
So that's why they say that creation is from the inner child. It's like the divine child.
That's very
Wow.
interesting. Yeah, because what happens when you've got the masculine and the feminine in sacred union, and you've got this whole sacred union within yourself, what you're doing is you're birthing the divine child, and that's where your creation comes from. So beautiful.
Wow. Did you have that document or
I sent it to you. Did
too
it
hard? Oh, you
send?
did?
Yeah. There's this little, it says sacred union. It's a PowerPoint
Oh, sorry.
presentation. Is
Sorry,
there?
I didn't realize.
It's
Yes, it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. And so Allison is just wrote something in the comments, so anybody here on the call right now can go read it. But if you're watching the replay, I'll read what Allison wrote. She said, I wrote a little ebook about the subject of the virgin and the horse splitting the feminine psyche. Yeah. And that's been very, very damaging, especially for men trying to come up with a be in relationship with their partner, or they call it the Madonna horse syndrome. And it's part of why men can objectify women. And you're a genius, Lauren. Thank you.
No.
Let's let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna close the chat for right now. Lauren, if there's anything in the chat that I absolutely need to see, you can still have it open, but I am going to make this larger so that people here and people on the replay can see this.
Yeah, I can probably do it that way. There you go. How does that?
So how we doing? Oh, shoot. No, actually, I need it. I don't know
The
if I,
other way?
yeah, I
Yep.
need the little things on the side.
Okay. Oh no, that's not right. Oh,
So this is what we're doing. We're on day 2. Yesterday, we were looking
there we
at
are.
Sacred Union, and you can go back and look at that if you haven't, if you just stumbled upon this one and you want to see how Sacred Union has to do with Mary Magdalene. It really, really does. You can take a look at that. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about how the archangels really help us in this whole process. So the next one, uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to just
Yeah, you can
say
just tell
Lauren
me.
next. I'll just say Lauren next. So I'll have to start over.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't see the slide.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Oh, it's lost it.
Uh-oh.
Temporarily. It was so beautiful though. I admire the colors.
Okay, now they're
Okay.
back.
Okay, good. All right. So here's
Sorry.
here's the idea. Here's what I wanted to. I talked about most of this stuff already. What I didn't talk about was within the Gospel of Mary, there are a couple of quotes that talk about anthropos. Now, anthropos is not a word in Semitic languages. It's not a word that Jesus would have spoken, but it is a word in Greek that was used to look at these Christians. The Greeks called the Jesus movement people that were seeking Christos, or the light, like the divine spark within, like the light within, like the Christ light. So they called them Christos or Christians. And so that's where the word Christianity came from. It came from the Greeks. But the word anthropos in Greek means fully human and fully divine. So there's a lot of language in the suppressed gospel talking about how we are true, stepping into being true human beings, being fully human and fully divine, because that's what anthropos means, being fully human and fully divine. That human part of us and our human part of us coming up, and our divine part coming in. So all of this within our own hearts, being fully human and fully divine. And that process is an alchemical kind of like this spiritual process called kenosis in Greek, where the divine feminine, divine masculine, on the horizontal plane coming together, and then the fully human, fully divine part coming together. And that is called kenosis. So I was going to talk about, I went on a Mary Magdalene retreat with Megan Watterson in Omega in New York. And it was a 3-day retreat. And after the first night, I was just feeling my heart unfolding. Like I didn't know that my heart could unfold, and that I could see, oh, now it's time for me to do this. I talked yesterday about how in 2018, I realized that everything that I needed to get through life and everything I had come to earth with was all inside my heart. But it was really hard for me to tune in. And after that retreat, I just realized, you know what? It's not difficult. I'm making it more difficult than it is. My heart unfolds and in divine timing, and I know the next right thing for me to do is it's coming up out of my own being, out of my own heart. And so that was really powerful. So being with this information, being guided on a journey through Mary Magdalene's gospel can be really powerful for us to just really be trusting in our unfolding hearts. There are 7 powers in the Gospel of Mary. So I have a class coming up that's 8 weeks where we talk about a little bit about what we're talking about today, but more in depth. because they're going to be 2-hour classes, and each of the powers in Mary's gospel and our human things that we do, like compare ourselves to each other, or compare ourselves, little things, making judgments, thinking that we're better or worse than other people, all of these kinds of human things that we all have, how to take those and move them into unconditionally loving everybody on the planet, including ourselves, because a lot of times other people are mirrors for us. And sometimes they're a shadow mirror, and sometimes they're a golden mirror. So I'm not your golden mirror. You have this all within you. So all of this is important. And as the archangels can help us make the transition, be loving ourselves through our humanness so that we can open with the help of their unconditional love, because they don't see us, they see our humanness as flawed in the slightest. They just see that that is our opening, and they want to help us open the door. So that's what I was saying here. Through our humanness, we step into our divinity. So this means that we're ready for the meditation. But just next slide, I think we need to see the next slide quickly. Yeah, this is what I just said. Is through our unique humanness, we're all unique, our unique humanness, that we are able to step into sacred union within our own hearts. So that's like the whole point of the 8-week course that I'm putting together. And then the next one, the Gospel of Mary, Megan Watterson's book is this one. And on the page in this book, she, in her very own handwriting, in red pen, said, be the bridge between heaven and earth. And that's what she sees Mary Magdalene doing, being the bridge between heaven and earth, being both human and divine. And as each one of us steps into more and more of who we are, admitting and no longer hiding from all of this humanness, and not being afraid anymore of this soulful self that we also are, we can be the bridge between heaven and earth. And the planet will be different if we do that, the more of us that do that. Okay, so this is part of what the angels are helping us move into, moving out of judgment and into love, moving out of ignorance and into wisdom, moving out of arrogance and into humility, moving out of ignorance into truth, power in healing, light in goodness, grace and beauty, out of fear into courage, so that we can come into knowing our soulful self, our whole sacred self as sacred union. So let's go ahead, Lauren, and stop this share. We're going to come back to it because there's more slides for after the meditation. But let's talk to Mary Magdalene now. It's time to talk to her. So we've got our feet on the ground, and we're feeling this energy from the earth. Yesterday, we were really feeling the contrast of the earth energy and the moon and the sun energy. So we're pulling energy up from the earth. We're feeling our feet open. There's a bubbling spring at the ball of our feet. And we're just kind of opening that up and feeling, oh yes, there is an earth star chakra 2 feet below our feet. And we are opening to this beautiful energy of this earth, this amazing planet that we are on right now. This same planet that Mary Magdalene walked, this same planet that Jesus walked, the same planet that Mother Mary walked not so very long ago. Now, as we pull this earth energy up, we feel the ancientness of all the ascended masters and all of the people that have walked. They are below our feet in the Earth Star chakra, all who have had this message, the answer is within you. The questions you seek, the answer is in the question that you're seeking. It's all right here within your own heart. You've had it all along. It's unfolding now, bit by bit. And we bring this earth energy up to our root chakra, knowing we are here now for a reason, bringing this energy into our sacral chakra, knowing that our sacred womb we can come together and be aware that we already are in sacred union, but just being aware that we are and can be more and more within our own womb space, and that we can birth the divine child within. And then bringing this wonderful energy from the 10th chakra, or this ascended master space below our feet, into our heart chakra, and feeling this expansion within our heart chakra, opening, seeing within our own hearts, seeing that thing that is unfolding now for us to grasp. And we're going to come back and look at that some more. And before we do that, we're going to go up to our throat chakra, where my dear friend Brenda says all of our chakras are in the throat chakra. And we have all this beautiful, beautiful truth that we can speak. And we feel this throat chakra aligned with all of our lower chakras and all of our higher chakras, so that what we speak, we are speaking from the truth within our own hearts. And then we bring this incredible ascended master energy up to our third eye and up to our crown chakra. And as this energy is now arrived at our crown chakra, we open our crown chakra with the help of this beautiful star Shiat that Neptune is on right now, that Neptune has been on all year and all next year, helping us all on this planet open our crown chakra. And now there are beings, ascended masters, placing a crown on our heads so that we can hold this energy, hold this crown chakra open when we need to make a decision, when we need to think about what it is, what our next step in our mission here on the earth plane is. These crowns that all these kings were wearing are just a reminder for them to remember the truth, to remember to move forward and manifest and create in the highest possible light. And now we feel Mary Magdalene around us. She is here, she's around us. Notice where she is around you. How do you perceive her? It may be a color, a presence, a light, a word. And she is giving us a gift, and she is helping us get used to her presence. She is now telling me the crown was from her. She put the crown on you. If you feel that crown on you, that was a gift from Mary Magdalene. What does your crown look like? And now around your shoulders, she is giving you a red cape. Red, a color of royalty, a deep, beautiful, velvety, soft cape. Soft, Maybe it's light, maybe it's heavy. What kind of red? Is it deep red, bright red? Mm. And she is helping us come more fully into her presence so that we can feel her more strongly. And now she is touching our heart with her hand. You might want to put your hands on your heart, or you might just want to feel what her hand feels like on your heart. And it's like she is turning the page in your book of life within your own heart. Sometimes the book of life can be seen as a flower unfolding, as a rose unfolding. In her tradition, the divine feminine comes in as a rose within the heart that unfolds. And she is helping us see the color of the rose within our heart. She is pointing to the page or the petal that we need to look at next in our life, in our journey. And she is sending us an amazing amount of unconditional love. And she is telling us that she is here for us on our journey, whether the journey, your own mission, your own journey, and she is here for us, for all that want to do further journeying with her through me. And she is coming through, helping us. And I'm going to go into silence now, and you can enjoy her feeling of unconditional love. So we thank Mary Magdalene for coming and for telling us that she is going to be with us on our journey, whatever that next step of our journey is. And now she is inviting us to take what she pointed to as our next step and help us turn that into a baby step that we can take every single day. What is she inviting us? What can we do in our daily life every day to bring this in stronger? For me, she's telling me read the Gospel of Mary every day. That's what she's telling me. And she's probably telling you something different. And so baby steps happen on a daily basis. You don't have to spend all day doing it. It only takes about a half an hour to read the Gospel of Mary. It's so short, they tore out a bunch of pages of it. So we're saying thank you, Mary Magdalene. And if you have a journal with you, go ahead and write down anything that you experienced during that meditation, and write down your baby step if you've got that figured out. If you don't have it figured out, start writing, and you just might figure it out. So if you're still writing, you can continue to write. If you would like to share now, let me know by unmuting or raising your hand or something that tells me that you'd like to talk. Go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, the message I received is it's okay to use, it feels good as a measure, and to follow this feels good. And yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That is an excellent measure because it puts you right into your own being, right into your own heart is telling you what feels good or what doesn't feel good.
And easier said than done because it often goes contrary to the pressures of
That,
family.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and so there is that good person, bad person, arguing.
Mhm.
And but I'm gonna do the baby steps.
Yeah, because I think we all, that's our part of our humanness. We all have this good person, bad person arguing going on in our head. And when we're able to see that and we're able to bring those two opposites together, I think the angels can help us that be if we could do it by ourselves, I think we would have done it already. So
Yeah. Like, yeah.
okay, angels help me. There's a war going on in my head. And so part of it is that the angels can help us drop into our hearts, and part of it is that this bad person within me is not nearly as bad as I thought they were, and this good person within me is not nearly as good as I thought she was, because she was living a very limited life, afraid to do anything, afraid to even speak. So how
And the
good
message
is
I
that?
got when you were speaking as well was trust that what's good, that what feels truly good for you will be good for the all. And I'm not responsible for what occurs
Oh, beautiful.
out there. And so I'm like, it feels like a risk in this particular time in my life, but I'm in.
Okay, Allison, awesome. Thank you for giving us that last bit, because it's really important, really important. Woohoo! Look at all look at all that coming up from Lauren's screen. She's like celebrating you. That was awesome. I hope you wrote that down. How do you turn that into a baby step? Oh my gosh. If you figure it out, let us know.
I'll be practicing tonight and I'll tell you tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. Oh, look at that. Hearts coming up from Brenda. That is so cool. All right, is there anyone else that would like to share anything that they got? Maybe, okay, Carrie, go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time in that meditation. And I had the gold crown and I had the red cape. I felt the presence of Mary Magdalene as sort of this purple black cloak that sort of came around me, and she faced me, which was a very interesting experience in that she was holding my hands and we were going through life together, where she was watching me. We were interacting as we went through life. It was really interesting, and it showed up as an infinity symbol between us. And so I felt this connection really deep in my heart, and that this connection went into her heart. It was really wonderful. So I asked, well, what am I going to do with this? And I'm going to contemplate the fruit of my life. Um, and as my baby steps, I'm going to eat a different fruit every week, do a meditation on it, so sort of a slow experience, have contemplation time, and then ask, how does this serve me? And by learning through this fruit, what are my fruits? What are my fruits of the spirit? What are the fruits of my production? What am I actually creating? I can connect to this more feminine representation of the abundance and the productivity in my life, and move on from there. So it was a really, really wonderful experience. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful, Carrie. Thank you so much for telling us all of that. That's brilliant. I'm going to go back and listen to what you said again later. I like to listen to, I love listening to you talk, and you're talking about the fruits, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she lives in Hawaii. She can go to the market and get all these exotic fruits that you've probably never even tasted before. So you've had the word fruits you've just described in so many different ways, and yet you can just bring, like, when you bring in and you're tasting the different fruits, you're bringing it into, it's part that becomes part of you. It can be part of a communion with you if you are aware of the presence of that fruit coming in.
Yeah, I like that idea of communion.
Yeah,
You're communing with the fruit, you're communing with yourself, you're communing with Mary Magdalene. That's a wonderful way to put it. Yeah.
that was beautiful. No, that's what I heard you say. I don't know what maybe I'll go back and listen to what you really said. But yeah, it's just awesome, Carrie. Thank you. All right, we're gonna go back to the presentation unless somebody jumps up and says, no, I want to talk. Okay,
I
Lauren,
want to talk.
go. And then Debbie after Lauren.
Oh, yeah. I was gifted with a blue egg, and I've just actually looked it up to see what that means.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is really beautiful. And also the message from Mary is I'm really feeling new beginnings at the moment anyway, but also I'm really exploring channeling. And Mary Magdalene was one of the ones that came up in a message for me the other day, that I will be channeling some of Mary. And that was what came up, to practice daily connecting, writing, and speaking.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful. Oh,
yeah, so
woo.
that's exciting.
Oh
And then
my
I've just looked
gosh.
up the blue
Yeah.
egg, which is beginnings and spiritual. Yeah, it's a gift. Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's awesome. The blue egg. So, oh, that's such a powerful image. The image of the egg and the divine feminine is a really powerful connection too, as I'm sure you know. So that's
I didn't know, but I was just yeah. So thank you. Yeah, I'm
beautiful,
excited.
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thank you, Lauren and Debbie.
Hey, well, I just want to thank, this has been fabulous. I didn't really grow up with all these teachings and that sort of thing, so this is very awesome for me. And as we went into the meditation, the first thing I saw was like a red pink light,
Mm,
and then
okay.
that turned into like head with um yellow golden arms arching up. And then as we went up through the chakras, I won't go through all of them, but we went to the heart, I really saw green, and I felt a pain on my left outside. Um, and then we went up to the throat, and it was like my throat. And as you mentioned, I also, in my clinical practitioner field, we see all the chakras there, but it was like shackles or the jail cell or something just released from my throat. And
Wonderful.
I got a real sharp pain in my left ear. So I know I need to listen. And then as you went up to the crown, it was just like a real bright, intense white light with some pink around it and stuff, and I just felt the pressure. um and then before you said to put the cloak on, I was already seeing and feeling it, just it was around my head and
Beautiful. Yeah.
down my body, and I just saw and felt it. And then I totally blissed out and zonked out. So I didn't get any messages or anything, so I'll have to do that again. So that was, I just know that the vibe was just a up there for me, and so
That's
I'm really
beautiful.
grateful. So I definitely had some shifts there. So thank you very much.
Yeah, a lot of times when we're invited to go deep, we're just like, okay, I don't even remember this part. And that's okay, because that's an important we're connecting with that stillness within our heart to give us the next um piece of insight. So don't call it zonked out. You went into stillness. If you and it's just really beautiful, Debbie, what you did experience. And it's okay that you don't have anything to write down as a baby step, but if you listened to this meditation again, that could lead you to a baby step. So anybody on the replay that went into stillness during the meditation, listen to it again and then say, okay, now maybe you go through stillness a second time, but then write down, but if I knew what the baby step was, it would be, and then keep writing. If I knew what my baby step was, it would be, and then just keep writing. Because sometimes our experiences are just so deep that we don't know how to bring them into our daily life without, just kind of like Lauren was talking about, she's going to be channeling, and we're just channeling from our own higher soulful self that wants to be, integrated in here with us. So so there's a part of you that knows what,
Well,
what
that's interesting. I'm getting shivers, and through the whole thing, my feet were really tingling. And at the very beginning, when you were talking, I felt like I was walking along. So it's almost like my baby step is just to start doing and to walk along. It was like a deep, deep trance I went into. So yes, I'm looking forward
oh,
to doing that again. Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, thank you. Brenda's gonna share too. Okay, go, Brenda, go.
Yeah, this will be very quick. The way I perceived her was actually I could feel her hand on my back, which was new for me. And the gift was, at first I just saw her with cupped hands reaching out to me. And she gave me the gift of self-love, actually.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and there was a heart stone, in her hand. And so then I went through the rest, and I'm actually not going to share that, but at the end, when I got thinking about the baby step, I suddenly too had a sharp pain on my left side, but it was in my pancreas area, and I very clearly heard, for me, when I get stuff in the pancreas, it's about enjoying the sweetness of life. It's when I start thinking there isn't anything. So that was, kind of where I came out to it was, let go of the worry was how I took it. But it came as enjoy the sweetness of life. So I wanted to share the beginning and the end of that for me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. I think both Debbie and Brenda are energy healers. And so you're very aware of pain that comes up and okay, so I'm gonna talk to this pain, do something with this pain. I'm sure you have your own way of doing it. So that's really powerful. Yeah, I don't want to get in the middle of your conversation between you and your own bodies. So that's you got it going on. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the presentation real quick. It's already 1:12. If anybody has to leave, I'm not gonna cry, but we're going back to the presentation and the next one coming up. So this is from the Gospel of Mary, and it's talking about anthropos. The first one is page 9. This is Jesus after the resurrection. He comes in and talks to his close students, which includes Mary and Peter and Andrew and Levi and a bunch of others. And Mary says, do not remain in sorrow and doubt, for his grace will guide you and comfort you. Instead, let us praise his greatness, for he has prepared us for this. He is calling us to become more fully human, anthropos. Thus, Mary turned their hearts toward the good, and they began to discuss the meaning of the teacher's words. So there was this sense of, okay, he's here, we all see him, now he's gone again. What do we do? And it's Mary, who is the apostle to the apostles, coming in, talking about he is calling us to become fully human. So that's really the essence for me of the Gospel of Mary, what it's showing us how to do. And then later on page 18, she says, surely the one of the disciples that stands up for Mary, as Peter says, what you just told us, the teacher said is just really crazy. And I don't know, are we who are fishermen gonna listen to a woman? And one of the brothers comes to his sister Mary's percent, because they're brothers and sisters, even though not by blood. Surely the teacher knew her very well, for he loved her more than us. Therefore, let us atone and become fully human, anthropos, so that the teacher can take root in us. Let us grow as he demanded of us and walk forth to spread the gospel without trying to lay down any rules and laws other than those he witnessed. So again, we're talking about being anthropos, being fully human, fully divine. And for millennium, we have been told that no, we have to go through a priest, we have to get baptized, it's not us, we've got all these external things, we've got all these things we're supposed to be, we have all these external duties. And here we are being told, don't lay down any rules and laws. Helping us move. I think that's this for me, this is what the Gospel of Mary does in these pages between page 9 and page 18, is help us move from our humanness and be able to move into a sense of sacred union. So that's that. Let's go into the next. This is what we were talking about yesterday, and I just had to pull one of those for us. But they see this figure 8 here, this infinity sign, this action that I'm doing with this cursor. This is bringing in the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Okay, and then we also have the vertical figure 8 coming in, bringing in the human and the divine. And then so we have these, and then this one, I think it doesn't click. It's not going to click. But just moving around with the infinity waves, both horizontally bringing in and vertically bringing in. And then on the next one, this is the one that I show in my new moon ceremony all the time, the feminine, the yin, the energy, the Mary Magdalene, the moon, okay, all of that. And the masculine, Jesus, the yang energy, the sun, all of that. When we have a full moon, like we had an opposite Aquarius Leo, the next full moon we're going to be opposite Pisces Virgo. And all of these oppositions are helping us. They're happening for us, because what is happening is that the opposites are merging within the eye of our own heart. And as we understand this bringing together of these opposites, we're able to come into sacred union within ourselves. We're able to move to that golden mean that the Greeks were always talking about, this Vesica Pisces, this eye of the heart. Okay, so next thing is join us tomorrow for the Archangels that can help us step into this new way of seeing so that we can move with grace through our own lives. So that's tomorrow at noon Pacific. And then the next slide. This is a day 1 share that is in the Mary Magdalene Sacred Union with Mary Magdalene and the Archangels, there's a new Facebook group that I just started and posted this day one share. And if you are interested in this 8-week class, then do these because you could win discounts to the program. So just commenting in the, Lauren's going to put in the chat the link to this Facebook group where commenting on day one is going to get you points to possibly win some prizes. And then the second one, the question for day two, the next slide, is day two. These are the questions for today. How did you think about and experience Mary Magdalene in the past? All of you guys here shared, and you could reiterate that on the comments, and people that are watching the replay can write about what you would have said today as you listen to other people. Why is it important now to know what's going on? How do you experience the divine feminine rising? How do you experience sacred masculine support? What are these experiences with the divine feminine, divine masculine? What is your baby step? What is it calling you to do? So if you want to share your baby step in this day two show, you can. And then the next slide is the prizes. Everyone can win the first prize, which is if you need to talk to me, if you're like, Renee, I can't afford the full price, but I can afford a payment plan, then you're going to need to talk to me. So Lauren's going to put a link in to have a conversation with me. But everybody who comments in Facebook is going to win a card reading where I pull a card reading from Megan Watterson's Oracle deck, and then a card reading from Kyle Gray, and then the second card pulled will be from Kyle Grade's brand new 22 Archangels, to kind of see the humanness and the divine and how you're being called into being able to move from that humanness into a sense of divinity. So that's the first one. And then, of course, so what is the grand prize? It's 50% off the Sacred Union course, which is an 8-week course at $397 US. So that's the deal. There is some more information that Lauren's going to post about the landing page that goes more in depth on what happens on each of these weeks, and has a little PayPal thing that you can click. Okay, so the next slide is, okay, so the 8-week cork is really helping us with, the archangels will help us open the insights of the Gospel of Mary so that we can embrace our wholeness and live the soul-led life that you came here to live, that we all came here to live. So that's really the plan. I think all of the links that need to be in here are in here. For those of you watching the replay, I am posting the landing page that explains more about this 8-week course, and I'm posting the Sacred Union Facebook page link in case you want to do the day one and day two things and see if you can qualify for or win the discount. And then there's also, if you want to talk to me about a payment plan for this, you can schedule a time to speak with me, because, and we can start with the reading, or you can just say, oh, let's just cut to the chase, and I want to spend my 30 minutes with you talking about what this course might do for me. So let's see anyway, so I don't think we need the rest of these. So go ahead, you can stop the share. Sometimes I just put more things than I need in a presentation. And anybody
have you yeah, I'm just not sure about the link to the Facebook group. Do we have that one?
The link to the Facebook group? Okay, let me put that. Let me get that going. Facebook group. Sacred Union. Football, sacred. Okay. Okay, so here is, I'm pulling that. Chat. I was in chat. Okay. Okay, so that's the new Facebook group, Sacred Union with Mary Magdalene and the Archangels. You could type in Sacred Union with Mary Magdalene and the Archangels and find it, but there's the actual link there in the chat, and it's going to be posted in the show notes in the See More underneath this video. So all of three of those things are going to be posted. You can go look in my YouTube. So, is there anybody that has a question or wants to say anything at this point before we pray ourselves out? Okay. So I just want to thank everyone who is here right now and everyone shared. So I'm really appreciating that all of you shared. And I really appreciate and, would love each and every one of you to be on this journey with me, but you have to ask within your own heart whether it's the right journey for you. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to pull, I'm not going to do sales tactics to make you decide. It's your own decision within your own heart on what it is, the next thing that you're being invited to do from within you. Does this include this? That would be great for me, but because I get to watch you do it, but it might be something other than this class that you're being called to. What is your mission on the earth plane at this time? Is really depending on what decision you make over the next couple of days, because this class is going to start September 10th. So is anyone decided already that they want to do this? So Bonnie, go ahead and unmute. Tell everybody why you want to do it. Let me see if I can unmute Bonnie.
Say,
There you go.
I haven't taken a course for a while. But that was intentional. And hadn't expected to want to this year. But as you have talked about it, it more and more is calling me. And if there was a energetic mentor, everything that you have said about Mary Magdalene makes me think that would be ideal. So, and the idea of being with, well, anything that you are leading, frankly, it almost doesn't matter what the topic is, but this is all new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure it will add to,
Okay,
yeah,
that's fabulous. Fabulous, Bonnie. Bonnie and I have a video that we created a couple of days ago. I'm going to post that too in the Facebook groups so that people can see us talking about the class, so that you also have, besides the landing page, you also have our conversation. And Bonnie, I'm going to email you the link to, I'm going to either, okay, what do you want me to do? I can either email you the link to the landing page and you could look at it, make sure, is this really it? And then you click the little button on the landing page to go to my PayPal, or you could say, oh, Renee, just send me a request for payment from PayPal. So what should I do?
Option 2.
Option 2. Okay. So,
and I will read it, but let's just,
okay, just cut to the chase.
okay.
Okay. So yeah, so I'll do that later. This is good. So all of you know that Bonnie will have already gone in and made sure the landing page works, and make sure, because I'm going to send her the no, she's going to make sure. No, we know that me sending a request for payment works, so we're gonna be okay. So, thank you. Okay, so, I hope to see see you guys tomorrow. And if not, then I hope to see you posting on Facebook. Just to kind of get an idea of how the angels helping us work this how that might happen, what that might be like. So I hope to see you live tomorrow, but if you are watching the replay, that's good too. So thank you so much. Love you all and hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lauren, for everything that you've done. I'm trying
You're
to
welcome.
stop my live stream right now. It's not working.
Thank you.
Bye.
This was wonderful spending time with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kara. It was so great to see you. You look great. You look like Hawaii really agrees with you.
I think it does.